In terms of a bookkeeping business, Jamie, just on that, do you guys use the workflow scheduling tool for your bookkeeping clients as well?
With bookkeeping clients, it is different because you'll normally have it's the monthly or the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly bookkeeping requirements, and a lot of the business activity statements, they're either monthly or they're quarterly. So it's almost,
self-driven.
It's just self-driven, and we all know what those deadlines are. Whereas with a tax practice, we all know that the final date for lodgement is around May 15th of May. Now, obviously, you can't do all your work in May, so hence why we schedule it. Yeah. So
just in terms of that, I mean, obviously, bookkeeping is different. It's more self-driven in terms of the deadlines. So I was even listening to a lady who's got quite a large bookkeeping business in the States, and she says, based on when they engage their clients, they say, your client manager will be focused on your books on a Tuesday at a particular time, and if you have any questions, we will answer them during that time. If you need us outside that time, we have a specific process. Now, I'm not saying that's the right or wrong process, but there still is communication or structure there around workflow scheduling. Do you guys do anything particular with your bookkeeping clients?
We've got quite a large bookkeeping division, so in that sense of the communication, we don't if there's queries around the questions, if it's in Xero, often that's in real time because you can post queries and in Xero against the transactions in real time, and that sort of just for us just gets solved as part of the package as going along, doing their bookkeeping. However, if you're a bookkeeper and you're someone who likes doing, say, cash flow forecast for the client, then I would certainly lock them in to either a 6 monthly update of their cash flow forecast, or this time of year, as Ed said earlier, it's a great time to budget for the year ahead. And so it just depends on your angle, depends on your specialization, and can be depending on what sort of industry the client is at times. But this time of year is a great time to forecast ahead, whether that's just a normal budget, and Xero, for an example, that platform, or QBO, they all have pretty good budgeting facilities, so you can encourage your clients and make it part of your fee proposal to do the budget for the year ahead, and articulate the value in that for the client, because part of the budget is, well, when's all my tax due? Like when if I'm paying tax, when is it due? When do I have to pay it? The whole streamline of all the payments. And
that makes me think of your Sky Hub, Jamie, in terms of how your weekly tacticals focus on your sales pipeline and then feed into your fees won and lost, and that feeds into your capacity plan. So there's a lot of cogs in the system, but
it's all linked. It's all linked together, because as you mentioned, it's the marketing, knowing what leads you've got, what you can take on, and it's that weekly tactical that I always say is the glue that holds it all together.
And I think it comes back to the old, what you measure, you can manage.
That's exactly right.
Then you don't have the surprises coming down the line.
Yeah.
I've just got one last bit that I need to cover off, because it goes glove in hand with working out your scheduling.
Sure.
And I'll just spend 30 seconds.
I'll just prompt everyone, if you've got questions, to start typing them in now, and then we can feed them off straight after Ed's finished. But send it away, Ed.
Okay, so once you've planned out your capacity and you've sent letters out to your clients as to when to bring their work in and so forth, then you should start scoping the work. So when the work comes in, if it's a $5,000 client, you should scope out that work as to, it might be 4 hours for bookkeeping, an hour for accounting, and half an hour for tax planning. And each person with that scope will then go into their own calendars and put the time into their own calendar. So if I was the accountant and I had, I had 20 jobs here, and I'm going to work on, on each of those 20 jobs, but at my area, then I would block off my calendar for 2 weeks for the kind of work. So, Brown might take 2 hours of today, and that goes on to Smith, and Smith might take 3 hours of my day, and then I've got 4 hours. I think it was 4 hours left, and that's allocated to Morrison. So my calendar is all planned out as to who I'm going to work on for 2 weeks. So everybody has to have that planned out for 2 weeks. You don't want the situation where someone runs out of work and says, I haven't got any work on today, and then it creates a domino effect all the way up to the partner. So everyone has to drop their work to go looking for work and ringing the clients up, trying to chase work to bring them in. It's just so inefficient and so clunky. So everybody understands that from 2 weeks worth of work populated into their calendars, and allow and again, it's not an exact science, and as long as you can, that's 20%. It's just when you've got the wind and the wind's just blowing into your sail and taking you wherever. That's 100% of it just coming in with no control, and that's when people get into trouble. So I just thought I'd finish off on that.
Someone would follow in the marketing world, and he said, show me a calendar and I'll tell you how much money you're making. And it's kind of an interesting point in terms of how, it's the simplest tool. We've all got one, but how we use it's a different question. So again, linking those systems back
down
to the basics is a really important thing to do.